Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy DJ the Boss, and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a super amazing Monday. I also hope you guys are staying safe from the coronavirus pandemic, which is something that is surging here now in Pennsylvania, especially during the summer months. But, I've been staying safe. I've been, taking care of my family whenever I need to. And, so this is a different kind of video. This ain't like an update vlog, which I'll give you guys a really quick update. I've been good. Let's just say that. But I'd like to tell you guys a story. For a lot of you, you know that my mom had to stay in the hospital back in March. And I wanted to tell you guys the full and explicit story of everything that went down. I do sometimes cry when I tell this story because this was an emotional story. Beloved beneath our family, my family and I. So if I cry, I do apologize. So we woke up one morning, March 7th of this year, and I woke up, I saw my mom in the kitchen, said good morning and everything, and then I saw a rash on her chest, like right around here. My brother came out, and we were both concerned for her. We thought it was something like, serious, so we were like, I think you should go get that checked out. We didn't think it was serious at first, but later we thought it was serious. But we were like, we think you should go get that checked out. So she went to a quick clinic in urgent care. She went to go get checked out. They x-rayed her to see if she had pneumonia or something like that. Nothing positive, which is good. And the doctors informed her to go to a hospital to get blood work done. So she went to a local hospital to get blood work done. She went to go get blood work done. And, we waited for about 2 hours. We were basically playing the waiting game to see what was going on. My mom came home. We were going to go get some KFC. So what happened was the doctor called, and he was like, you need to get to the main hospital immediately. Like, not the hospital that she got blood work done, but another hospital. You need to get to the hospital immediately. I will call the doctors in advance to let them know what's going on. And, we'll keep in touch. So we got in the car, and I was freaking losing it, dude. Like, I was just crying. Like, I was just like, I couldn't control myself. Like, I was so scared, dude. So my mom was on the phone with the doctor. He didn't tell really like what was going on, but he was familiar with this symptom, which I guess she had what's called ITP, which means that platelets are low in the blood, which PET-IA, what she actually had was a symptom of ITP. So I did say it was PET-IA, which was sort of right, but it was mostly ITP, which I can't pronounce the full name of it. But we were driving down. I was fucking losing it. I went into a gas station. My mom and I wanted a Gatorade, so we got a Gatorade and everything. Then we just drove to the hospital. So she called my dad. She called my brother. They were both emotional as all hell. I mean, I probably was the most emotional one. So then we got to the hospital. We got to the emergency room, and we checked in. And we were just sitting in the waiting room for about 20, 25 minutes. And we were just sitting there, we really didn't even say a word. And then they took us back to a room. We were sitting there for, I'd say, at least good 3 hours. Hematologists kept coming in, taking blood work. And they're like, some people were like, they came and do like, do you need tea, water, soda? We'll get you anything you need. But then, like, I think at around 10:30, I believe 11, an oncologist came in. My fucking heart dropped. I thought she had cancer. Because while she was at the hospital getting blood work done, I was looking this kind of thing up. Like, it was like, what's the rash on her chest called? And it was called PET-IA. I think it's pronounced Pedicky. I don't know how to properly pronounce it. And to think, I saw it was a symptom of leukemia. I was fucking scared. Like, I thought my mom had cancer. But that was like when she got her blood work done at the other hospital. The oncologist came in, and he was like, we detected no cancer cells in your blood, which was something that we were instantly relieved. It got an instant, like a huge weight off her shoulders. But she still had to be admitted. But they're like, we're going to get you to a room, and we're going to go from there. So then we waited in there for like another hour. And I was just like, man, I got to do something for my mom. I can't let this go. So I basically I was writing a song, and I wrote it furiously. Like, I just couldn't stop writing. Words were racing in my mind. And, I just couldn't, I can't stop writing. It's just I was writing and everything. But then at about 11:30, an admittance lady came in, and they got my mom into a room on the 6th floor of the hospital, and we were staying next to this lady that she thought that I was working at the hospital. So it was kind of like she was getting my attention. I would walk out of the room, just get myself calmed down because I couldn't comprehend what's going on. My mom laying in the hospital bed, I will never process it through my mind. Like, especially if I was at my age. So I just kept walking out of the room. I was emotional as all hell. Like, I couldn't stay in that environment. At around 12:30, my mom was laying in the hospital bed. I was sitting right beside her, and we were watching like that little like TV where like it's like on the bed, but it's like you have to stretch it out and everything. We were watching that kind of TV, and my dad was in Pittsburgh. He was on his way home. He was basically rushing home, and my brother, he was rushing home too. So around 1:15, 1:30, my dad got to the hospital, and so did my brother and his fiance. We were just sitting there for about 3 hours talking to my mom, and then we left at around 4:30 in the morning. Like, I felt like as if I couldn't sleep. Like, I was just sitting there with my mom, and we were just basically just shooting the shit. I was still emotional. She felt fine. Like, I'm like, Mom, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Like, I would feel like I would kept checking up on her with the are you okay question every 10, 15 minutes. She was like, yeah, I'm fine. I was like, how could you be fine? You know what I mean? Because she was laid in the hospital. Like, I felt my veins were chilled. Like, I would get goosebumps. Like, I'd grab her hand and I'd get goosebumps. Like, I was just like, wow. So my brother and his fiance and I, we went home to go get some sleep. It was around 4:30 in the morning. My dad stayed overnight. We left the hospital and but prior to that, at like 1:30, I basically walked out of the hospital. It was freezing cold. I could not stay in there. And I was just freezing cold. And I found myself out that I was locked out of the hospital. So I literally had to call my brother and say, hey, you need to open the doors for me. So he came down to the first floor. He opened the doors for me, and we got back in the hospital. I was freezing cold. Like, it was freezing cold outside. I had no jacket. But then we got home at around 5:30, and, I just basically crashed. Like, I was so emotional, I just crashed. I couldn't think of anything else. And that night, I basically just had nightmares. And, it was so scary. But then I woke up at around 11:30 that morning, and, we took care of everything. We were getting ready to go see my mom in the hospital again. I was staying overnight this time, and my father was going home. And my brother and his fiance were going home as well, so it would just be my mom and I. So I woke up that morning, and I was just getting myself around, and then we left. We went to go get some lunch. We ate at this local place called Dandy, which is a local gas station. We basically got some food. We got the food to go because we were on the rush, obviously. So then we went to Dunkin' to get my mom a coffee because she's a Dunkin' fan. I can't even, And then, we got to the hospital around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We got in there. I hugged my mom because I just fucking missed her, dude. I can't stand being away from my mom like that. I will never. Ugh. Anyway, so we got there, and, my brother and his fiance and I, we were just sitting there for about 4 hours talking to my mom. We were just chilling, and my brother's fiance told us about this place in the hospital called the Atrium Cafe, which is basically like a local restaurant the doctors go eat at. So we were going to go get some dinner. We went down. They basically just had a buffet, basically, of food. I got 2 cheeseburgers, and I was fucking hungry. And something nasty happened at the next part of the story. I had high anxiety that night. And so this is going to get really, really, this is going to get a little vulgar, and I'm not talking curse words. This is going to get a little nasty. So I got 2 cheeseburgers and these buffalo combos and dessert. Oh my God. It was basically, I was just having a fucking smorgasbord. I could not stop eating that night. My appetite was just so high. I could not stop eating. I felt like as if I was a person that had a high metabolism, basically. So we paid for our food, and we went back up to the hospital room. We didn't eat down at the cafe. This was around 7:30 at night. And, we were just sitting there. My brother and his fiance left about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I just got out of the hospital room. I did a live stream. I was fucking emotional. I was just oh my God, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? I feel I'm going to cry. So I went down to the lobby of the first floor. I did a live stream updating the people how everything was going. And, like, I was just basically praying and everything. And people joined and, like, I was crying, dude. Like, I just, like, you know. I was crying at night. And, like, you know. But then, you know, I was just crying. I was down there for about 15, 30 minutes doing a live stream. I was, like, I was bawling, dude. Like, I just, man. But then, like, I ended the live stream. I went back up to, I was calmed down by then. Like, I just needed to get away from that situation. Like, you know. But I stayed in with my mom, and we were just sitting there watching TV. She got her own room away from that one room where that one lady was at. She got her own room, and we were just watching TV. We had a TV guide. We asked the nurse, hey, could you bring us a TV guide? So they brought us a TV guide, and her and I, we were just watching the news at like 11:30. She crashed, and I wanted to go to sleep, but I could not sleep. I had to sleep in this one reclining hospital chair that, like, if you know those hospital chairs where, like, you know, you get to recline and everything, and it kind of reclines back so much, it's kind of like you're laying in a bed. I had to sleep on one of those. But then, like, at, like, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I went down to the Atrium Cafe to get myself a bottle of water. So I got a bottle of water, I went back up to the, my mom's room, and I just crashed from there, dude. And I only got, like, 5 hours of sleep. And this is where the nasty part comes in. I think you can kind of guess what it is. I woke up around 7:30 in the morning. I think my mom was up. And, like, we just woke up. It was just my mom and I that morning. Then we went back down to the Asian Cafe to get some breakfast, which they had eggs, bacon, and basically still the buffet. And then after we got our food, we went back out to the hospital room. So then these 2 doctors came in. It was another doctor, and I guess it was a university student doctor. They were telling my mom, you know, it was basically the result of ITP. You know, just seeing her hooked up to IVs and taking steroids, that made my heart shatter. Like, you know, she was basically hooked up to IVs and steroids basically the entire time. But then we got back up to the room, and the doctors were in there. I started feeling sick to my stomach. I was like, oh, fuck. No, not right now. Please don't. Like, I know my anxiety was high, and, like, not right now. But I felt sick to my stomach. I felt like I was going to puke, but I didn't puke for hours. So, you know, my mom, like, I would push her around a wheelchair just to kind of get her out of the hospital room. Like, the last 2 days that she was at the hospital, I'd kind of push her around the wheelchair. And, like, you know, she'd go outside and get some outside time. Like, we even went outside, like, you know, the morning before we got breakfast. We went outside. It was freezing out, but my mom was just sitting in the wheelchair. And, like, we were just, you know. But anyways, so we went back down to the Atrium Cafe area because there's a little courtyard near the atrium. My brother, my father, and I, they were sitting out there, and I was sitting inside because it was a little warm out that day. I was just basically sitting inside, kind of giving a little positive update to the fans about how my mom was doing. But then around 12:30, 1 o'clock, I was like, so I immediately rushed to the bathroom. I wasn't running, I was speed walking. But before that, I guess, like, a doctor, like, someone was sitting there. I think he tried to get my attention. Like, I think it was, like, a fan who was a doctor or something like that. I was like, dude, not right now. I didn't say that to him. I was like, not right now. Not right now. Like, this is something that, no. This was before I had to vomit. And yes, I did vomit, and I'll explain that. But, like, you know. But anyway, back to the story. So I rushed to the bathroom, and I was just sitting there I was in the bathroom, and then at, like, 1 o'clock, I rushed to the garbage can, and I puked. Oh, my God. Like, it's gross, but still. But then I puked again, but it wasn't for 2 hours. So we were sitting in my mom's hospital bed. She went to go get a shower. So then I was like, oh, not again. So I was like Superman, getting out of the chair, back to the garbage can. I puked this time, but this time I puked violently. So my dad was like, get him out of here. Take him home. So my brother, he took me home. He went up to the desk to say, hey, we're going to need some puke bags. My brother just got sick. So they gave us puke bags, and then my brother looked at the puke bags and this ain't going to be big enough. I'll stop somewhere and get you a bucket. So we got out of the hospital, and, like, I was just sick to my stomach. I don't know, dude. Like, I guess that's what you get for having a lot of food on anxiety, because basically high anxiety and high food consumption are like fuel and gas, like fire and gas. They do not mix. So he stopped at a local store and he got me basically a puke bucket. I was just sitting there in my brother's SUV. We were driving down the road and almost home, I puked again. So then we got home, I was drained. Like, I was drained. And like, I was laying in my bed, I was watching Hulu. And I puked again. And like, I think a half hour after I puked for basically the fourth time, basically since that day, my brother came in and he was like, take this. I was like, what the hell's that? He was like, just take it. I was like, Brad, I'm not going to take anything that I don't even know what I'm not prescribed. Sorry if I stuttered there for a second. He was like, just take this. You have to dissolve it under your tongue. So I dissolved it under my tongue. And after that pill, I stopped puking. I was like, what the fuck? So I went out to the kitchen table and I saw a little pill there with my name on it. It said ondansetron, which I did look it up. Ondansetron is basically a prescribed medication that basically helps us with stop nausea and vomiting. Basically, it just like, it destroys the chemicals that helps with nausea and vomiting. And I felt better. I was like, what the fuck? Did I just stop puking after one pill? Anyway, so around the next morning, March 10th, my mom was coming home. She was getting discharged from the hospital. They felt that she had enough platelets to get around and that more platelets would be inserted to her body naturally because she was hooked up to IVs that would insert platelets in her body and she had to take aggressive steroids, which, like I said, my mind will never process that. So, to discharge her around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I was feeling like a new person. Like, after all that puking, I felt like as if I was a new person. I puked around, like, probably 4 or 5 times before I took the ondansetron. But the person who prescribed it to me was the doctor that admitted my mom to the hospital. So, the guy was a big help. Like, helping us through the process and, like, you know. But basically, my mom got discharged from the hospital. I basically hugged her when she pulled into the driveway. I hugged her, dude. Like, you know, which I will say this, and I did look this up. Usually, if you don't treat ITP in adults, it can get chronic and fatal. So I was afraid my mom was going to die, which was something that I will never want to think about. But after my mom was released in the hospital, a few weeks after, I released I Love You Mom, which made my one friend cry because of his mother, but I don't want to explain the story. But then, like, it made a few people cry. It made my mom bawl. And, like, I just wrote furiously. And after I got home from the hospital, I just finished writing it. I recorded it, and I published it on YouTube. Everybody was giving me a lot of positive feedback about that. And it was a really powerful song because, like, of everything I went through. Basically, the emotions I had, people felt. So, that's the story. So, I do have 2 songs I wrote for my mom, I Love You Mom and I Love You Mom Part 2. I'll leave both of them in the description. But anyway, other than that, my mom is doing fine. So, some of you might be wondering what this is. This is a necklace I got after my mom was released in the hospital. It stands for Respect, Strength, Anti-Fear. There's basically a big story to this necklace, but I've dealt with a lot in my life, and plus the recent tragic incident in March, and I fought through it with confidence and strength and no fear, so that's why I got this. Anyway, guys, so if I can give you guys any advice, just spend as much time with your mother as you can, because there could be a day where she could die, where your mother could die. So I know it sounds tragic, but it's real life, and we have to accept that as people. You know what I mean? So, my mom's doing well. She's healthy. She's fully recovered. And after 10 days she got out of the hospital, she was fully recovered. So we were blessed, basically. All right, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the post notification bell so you never miss a video. We're doing fine. We're staying safe amid the COVID-19 pandemic. So appreciate y'all for tuning into the video, and I'll talk to y'all later. Let me just